Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built and welcome to Project Beetle. Okay, so today we're going to go through this Beetle and have a look at it and see what's wrong with it and see what needs to be fixed up and run through the plan of where we're going to go with it and what we're going to do with it. Okay guys, so this particular car is a 1971 Super Beetle, and for those of you who don't know Beetles very well, which is me, because I had no idea, the difference with the Super Beetle over the regular classic Beetle is that it actually has a McPherson strut front end and it actually has proper springs in it, whereas the other models still had torsion bars. Due to the change in front suspension geometry, it meant that they had to widen up the front of the car. So one of the main ways to tell a Super Beetle from the regular Beetle is that this bonnet is much broader here. The regular Beetle came down to more of a point. You can also tell by this front valance under here. It's probably hard to see from that camera angle, but it curves under more on the Super Beetle as opposed to the regular Beetle, which came down almost vertical. Being a Super Beetle, they do have some nasty nicknames like the Pregnant Lady and other less flattering ones. So it's time to start going over it and seeing what the problems are and what I plan on fixing, what I plan on not fixing, and just go from there. For starters, you can see things I pointed out here, also over here. The paint on this car is far from perfect. You can also see along the back edge of here, the bonnet obviously hasn't been lined up properly and it's chipped quite a few times, and there's some rust bubbles, etc. to fix up. If you have a look at things like this, all the rubbers are pretty worn, pretty perished, and all need to be replaced. So I'll be replacing all of the rubbers on the car. You can also see around the tail lights here, this rubber is completely perished and completely gone. Same with the tail lights. You can see the tail lights here. The bumpers are actually, they've got surface rust on the inside at the back, and the chrome is chipped in a couple of places. Even though replacement bumpers aren't that expensive, I think I could actually repaint these bumpers and they'd actually look quite nice. So that's something I'm thinking about doing for that. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but you can see that there's been some bog work here in the bottom of the doors. Same with these rear panels here. There's just been some bog work, and obviously there's some rust under there that somebody's just sort of done a light touch-up work on. I'm going to dig that out, repair the lower areas of these doors. I'm not going to strip the entire car back to bare metal. I'm just going to pick on the problem areas and repair what needs to be repaired and get this car looking nice and neat again. It's not a concourse restoration. It's just going to be tidying up. And that's interesting. There's a screw and a spring that's just sitting down the bottom in here. Where is that from and what does it do? Something for me to look into. You can tell that this car has been repainted. The yellow is not painted very well at all. And a good giveaway is you can actually see under here that it was actually a tan color originally, and there's other points around the car where you can see that it was originally this, this beige tan Beetle color. As far as the interior goes, I have this horrible felt interior in here. It's not very nice, and these seat covers are some really cheap, nasty replacement seat covers that have got to go, don't look very nice. I really hate that steering wheel in here. It really doesn't match the style of the car. The carpets are not terrible, but I think it's time to just freshen up the entire interior, including, unfortunately, Tweety Bird's seat cover has to go out of the back, and these weird speaker holes with 6-inch speakers and 6 by 9-inch speaker covers that don't fit the holes. None of that works. None of that is right. It's all going to be tidied up and replaced. Now coming around to the dash, you can see that the stereo, whoever put it in just bashed their way into the dash. They really mangled it up and it looks atrocious. So I'm going to go through and tidy that up a bit and make it look a bit nicer. And you can see that the vents here are completely perished. So basically my job is to just go around and tidy this car up and make it something that is nice and neat and comfortable to drive. I've also found the source of my petrol smell. You can actually see that dripping there. That is because I obviously overfilled the fuel tank on this thing. I filled it all the way up the neck, and that is not the way to go. So, okay, so now it comes down to the outside, and this is where you guys can give me your opinions. Let me know what you think. Color-wise, it wasn't originally yellow. I'm not a huge fan of the yellow, and it's painted badly, so it's got to be redone anyway. I do like it over white. This needs to be redone, but I'm going to redo it white here. So I need the outer color, the main color. It's going to have white wall wheels. It's going to be lowered. So leave a comment and let me know what color you think I should paint it. The interior, I'm going a light color. I'm going to go the off-white interior color because I like the light, bright interiors. So I am swaying towards the really pale pastel colors, but you guys give me your opinion. All right, so now it's time to start looking a little bit deeper into this thing and seeing what else I have to do. I have been hearing a weird ticking noise coming from the rear end of this car that is it's speed related. So I have a sneaking suspicion that a wheel nut might have come loose and is ticking around underneath the hubcap. So let's have a look. Okay, so it's definitely not a loose wheel nut, and I thought the sound came from the back. So let's jack the back up and look a little bit further into it. I can't find the source of the ticking, but there is definitely a lot of grease and oil underneath this car. So it's gonna need a little bit of TLC. It's leaking from the valve covers. It's leaking from pretty much everywhere. I think it's definitely worth giving it a good freshen up and a good service. All right, now I'm going to have a look at the bottom of these doors. I'm going to pull the door trims off inside, and let's just see how far this rust goes and see what condition the things are like inside. That was a very pleasant surprise. I knew about this rust here along the bottom of the door, and you know, there's a few bubbles here, and there's a couple of holes on the inner skin I knew about, and I could see the bog on the other side, but I've actually just looked down in here, and I was imagining the whole bottom of the door, like my Datsun, like my 911, was all completely rusted through. But it's actually not the case. It's got a little bit in the corners, there's a little bit down there, and there's a bit in the corner of the frame. You can see a bit of light coming through there, but actually it's nothing too drastic. Okay, so I've just got in here and I've pulled out the back seat, and you can actually see down on this side underneath the footwell, besides this mess of wires that I need to do something about. The floors are actually in really good condition. Even here, there's a few holes in the floor underneath the battery, but it's really nothing too drastic. It's not going to be a big fix to repair those holes. Even under here, this looks horrible and rusty, but it's actually just the bottom of that matting. If you actually look at this, it's all fine. And here is underneath the front foot mat, and you can see that this is all nice and clean and solid under here as well. Yep, passenger floor, perfect. Now I've cleaned this out down in here, it is really, really, really clean in the bottom of these doors. It is clean. This car is really neat and clean. Just, you know, that bit of rust in the corner there that I'm gonna have to fix. But not a lot of rust patching. And I mean, this door is good. I don't think there's any rust to fix on this door. It's just a little bit on the driver's door. I definitely have to fix the seals in these rear windows. I think this window is leaking here because it was quite damp down in here. I got the vacuum in and got rid of some of it, and there is some surface rust there. There's a couple of little holes there. That's the worst of it. The rest of it is pretty good. It's a little damp on this side as well, but that's only because it was torrential rain last couple of days and this car's been outside. So, but I'll tackle that at another date because as this is a rolling resto, I have to put this back together today and keep it on the road. And that means it's time for fun facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hey guys, in the 1930s, Germany produced mostly high-end luxury cars, but the average German could barely afford a motorcycle, and as such, only 1 in 50 Germans actually owned a car. Ferdinand Porsche, yes, that Ferdinand Porsche, who was more known for high-end and luxury cars, began work on a small car design in 1933 called the Volksauto. In 1934, Adolf Hitler wanted all Germans to have access to a car. Now this car needed to seat 2 adults and 3 children and be able to travel at 100 kilometers an hour. On 28th of May 1937, Volkswagen, which means people's car, was formed. Erwin Kommender, part of Ferdinand Porsche's team, developed the now iconic Beetle body, and it was one of the first cars to use a wind tunnel in its development. Construction of the factory began in 1938, but only a handful of the cars were produced before war broke out in 1939.
All right, guys. So that's just a quick overview this week. I didn't really do a lot of work on the car, but next week I'm actually going to get fully stuck in. Hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of what is going to happen with this, and hopefully it's going to roll pretty quickly. It's not going to be a 2-year project like the 911 has been. It's going to be a fun, quick, get it in, make it look nice, and really turn it around so you guys have actually some real running content. All right, well, as always, please like and subscribe to Home Built by Jeff, and you can head down to the store down below in the description to support us with buying some shirts, hoodies, or coffee mugs. All right, guys.
Hey guys. This is pretty glary. I've got a really sore eye. Hi guys. I was the one who thought of luxury because you just...
It's going to be the end.
How can I work with this material? High-end and race cars team developed the